Egyptian Adventure. Nadim and Anina came to play at Bip and Chip's house. Nadim had a look about the ancient Egyptians. It isn't just a book to read, said Nadim. It's a special sort of book. It's a model book, said Nadim. He opened it to show everyone. I get it, said Chip. You press out the shapes, then you fold and glue them to make a model. The book had lots of shapes to press out and fold. Nadim pointed at one. Can you see what this will be? He asked. Of course we can. It will be a pyramid. Chip found some glue. Then Nadim pressed out the shapes and the others began to fold them. First they made the pyramids. Anina had a difficult shape to fold. This is a sphinx, she said. They pressed out some teeny trees and people. Biff glued them all on to a sheet of paper. It made a scene of ancient Egypt. The children were pleased with it. I'm really pleased with the sphinx, said Anina. At last the model was finished. It looked so good that they called Mom upstairs to have a look. What a good job you made of it, said Mom. I like the pyramids and the sphinx. The sphinx was hard to make, said Anina. Fluffy ran into the room. He didn't see the model on the floor and he trod on with it with his big paws. He knocked over the tree and crushed the sphinx. Oh, Fluffy! Everyone yelled. Fluffy looked unhappy. He knew he had upset the children. Never mind, said Chip. It wasn't Fluffy's fault. The sphinx looks even better than before. Suddenly the magic key began to glow. The key took the children back in time. It took Fluffy too. It's not my day, said Fluffy. First I get into trouble. Now it's the magic adventure. The magic took them back to ancient Egypt. They were standing by a pyramid. The pyramid was still being built. Far off they could see 2 more pyramids. This is amazing, said Nadim. I didn't think the pyramids were so big. Some people were pulling on long ropes. They were moving a big block of stone. That was amazing too, said Chip. I didn't know the pyramids were made with such blocks of stone. Look over there, gasped Anina. She pointed to a huge stone sphinx. Let's go and look at the sphinx, she said. They all began to run towards it. Fluffy didn't go with them. He had seen a cat. The cat hissed at Fluffy. Fluffy couldn't stop himself. He chased it. It leaped onto some blocks of stone. Fluffy jumped up too, but the cat was too fast for him. Bip saw Fluffy chase the cat. She called to the others. They all went back to get Fluffy, but he was stuck on the blocks of stone. He couldn't get down. Oh, Fluffy, you silly dog, said Biff. The children looked up at Fluffy. He's a long way up, laughed Nadim. I'll just have to climb up and help him down, said Biff. Then the man ran over. He looked at Fluffy and gasped. The man called to some people. They ran over to the children. At first they were talking and shouting. Then they all went quiet. What are they doing? Asked Biff. Why are they looking at us like this? The people put their hands together and raised them in the air. Then they sank down on their knees. They're bowing to us, said Chip. They must think we're important. How strange, said Nadim. The people were not bowing down to the children. They were bowing to Fluffy. I don't believe it, whispered Chip. Fluffy is important. I wonder why. The people took Fluffy away. The children followed. Fluffy couldn't believe all this was happening to him. A magic adventure is bad enough, he thought. And now this. Brr, brr. The people took Fluffy to the king's palace. The king came out onto the steps. In Egypt, there is a king called a pharaoh, said Chip. This pharaoh looks very fierce. Everyone bowed when they saw him. We better bow down too, said Biff. We don't want to get into trouble. A man spoke to the Pharaoh. Brave Pharaoh, he said. See what we have brought. The yellow dog, gasped the Pharaoh. The Pharaoh took Fluffy inside the palace. Then he clapped his hands. Look after the yellow dog, he said, giving whatever he wants. Thought Fluffy. I'm beginning to enjoy this adventure. I just don't get it, said Biff. Why are they making this fuss of Fluffy? The Pharaoh clapped his hands again. Some people ran into the palace. One of them began to paint a picture of Fluffy. Suddenly, Biff sneezed. The Pharaoh saw the children. Strangers in my palace, he shouted. How did they get in? The guard grabbed Biff, Chip, and Nina. Another one grabbed Biff and Nadim. The guards took the children outside. They took them to one of the pyramids. The people were moving the big blocks of stone. You all look strong, said the guard. You can work there. The children had to help pull one of the big blocks. They had to put rollers down to slide along. This is hard work, moaned Biff. These rollers are heavy. It was time for a rest. The children had to drink from a skin bag. Ugh, the Chip. This water is warm and it tastes funny too. I'd rather have a cold ice can. The Egyptians were carving a giant stone block. The children had to pick up all the chips of stone that fell off. This is hard work too, said Nadim. It's no fun being an Egyptian slave. Anina looked at the carving. I wonder they are making a phoenix, she said. A phoenix has the body of the lion, but that doesn't look like a lion's tail. That tail looks familiar, said Biff. The carving was familiar. I said it looked familiar, gasped Biff. It isn't a phoenix at all. It's Fluffy. At that moment, the Pharaoh came to see the carving. The magician carried Fluffy. Suddenly, the magic key began to glow. Fluffy jumped down and ran over to the children. Come back, yellow dog, called the Pharaoh. I'm glad it's time to go, thought Fluffy. It was all getting too much of a good thing. Bark, bark. What an adventure, said Nadim. I didn't like being an Egyptian slave. Anina picked up the smolder of Phoenix. A Phoenix has the lion's body and a man's head, she said. But this does look a bit like Fluffy. The end.